Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to remove a PS2 port on a motherboard using a hot air rework station. Now this is going to be a lot easier than using, say, like your good old-fashioned soldering iron. Hot air just makes this job so much easier. Now this particular PS2 port has about 13 feet that we're going to have to desolder. We're going to make quick work of that with some hot air rework. And another tool that's going to help us do this is flux, which I'm applying here. Flux aids in helping the solder to become molten, makes it much easier to work with at the proper heating point. Without solder, you stand more of a chance of possibly burning your board. So everybody remember, flux is your best friend. Let's talk a moment about my rework station. I have the Kindle 898D. It has its own hot air wand and its own soldering iron. And you can buy different tips for the soldering iron for different jobs. The wand also has different size nozzles for various different jobs. Also, it usually comes supplied with the kit. Both the wand and the soldering iron has its own LED temperature readout. Okay, to get started here, I'm going to set my wand to 350 degrees and the airflow dial to 5. So we're going to start off about 3 inches above the board. We want to slowly warm this board up first. Don't apply immediate heat. It's a slow process. When you're just starting to apply a small amount of heat at first, you'll see your flux start to kind of melt and run. This is good. This is what you want. This is going to activate the flux to help your solder melt. Now for this video, I'm using a dead motherboard. But if you were to be using a motherboard that you are trying to repair in real environment, you would want to use some heat-resistant tape to kind of tape up around the other components that you see around this area. What will happen is if you don't do that is if things get too hot there, you could actually desolder other components that are around what you're trying to work on. So it's really important to be careful about not heating up the other solder joints around the area you're working. But for this case, I'm just kind of demonstrating here, so I don't have anything taped off. It is important to keep your wand at a 90-degree angle at all times. If you change the angle, the heat could end up slipping underneath the tape. If you have tape, it could go underneath it, and that's something you don't want to happen. Keeping the heat straight down minimizes mistakes that you don't want to happen really during this process. From the time I started heating this board till I'm done, I'm not going to edit anything out. So this is actual time it takes to remove this PS2 port. So you want to work your way in small circles, slowly getting closer as you go. At this point in time, I'm going to bump my heat up to 450 degrees on my wand and turn the air up to 7. Now I'm also going to be using a pair of needle nose pliers to kind of grab hold of this PS2 port, because I just want to kind of slowly move it around to see whenever the solder is giving way. You don't really need to pull hard on this PS2 port, as it'll just fall right out. And as you can see here, it's loosening up and it'll just come right out. There you go. We've just removed a PS2 port from a motherboard using a hot air rework station. Now if you were to replace this component, you would want to keep your board hot and go ahead and apply the new PS2 port by just sliding the feet back up into those slots, keeping the solder molten, and touch it up with some new solder with soldering iron. So that's it for this time around, everybody. Hey, hit that like button over there and subscribe to my feed. There's more fun computer repair videos on the way. So until then, see you next time.